Good afternoon, everybody. A warm welcome from the beautiful Stellenbosch. Today, I want to tell you a bit more of another South African indigenous tea uh, that is similar to rooibos, namely honeybush. The honeybush industry is still small and relative. Uh, Cyclopia species or honeybush belongs to the family Fabaceae, and it has 23 species, of which 6 are commercially planted. Honeybush is a fynbos plant and thus grow naturally in the fynbos areas that are unique to the Western and Eastern Cape in South Africa. The industry is plus minus 25 years old, and the first commercial plantings was planted in 1996. Currently, there are more or less 200 hectares commercial plantations, and most of the honeybush are grown organically, and it is exported to more than 25 countries. Unfortunately, about 80% of the honeybush is still harvested in the wild, which is a concern for us on the conservation side, and therefore we would like to change this percentage to much lower and have more commercial plantations. Honeybush has many health benefits. For example, it is caffeine-free, it's high in antioxidants, it's anti-mitogenic, anti-cancer, and anti-diabetic. The tea products that you will find in the shops are fermented or unfermented, your green teas. The teas are packed per species or blends of species, and some of them are blended with other teas, namely like example rooibos or buchu or chamomile, and also flavors are added to it. Other products that we have is we look at extracts, there are nutraceuticals and cosmetics as well. Research and development by the ARC is very important, and we do it through the whole value chain, and we base all our research on the conservation of it, which is very important for us. And we have a gene bank at the ARC where we have at least 7 species that we conserve. We did fingerprinting of the selections in some of the populations, and we're also checking that at the gene flow between populations and between species to make sure that we don't get pollen contamination and contaminate natural populations with different species. We would like, with the conservation, to decrease the harvesting of the seed and biomass in the wild. So we have basically 3 different legs, we can put it like that. In the value chain, first it is the breeding and genetic part. That is where we do the breeding. We currently have 3 breeding programs, but we also had to look at the genetics aspects of honeybush, which we didn't know anything of, is like chromosome numbers, the POID levels, how to cross, etc. Then it doesn't help. We have breeding programs, but we don't know how to grow it. So the horticultural side is also very important. And these two are very interlinked. So if we change something in genetics or the horticulture, so the end product can change. So in horticulture, we had to look at propagation, how to propagate it, on the pollination studies, we did look at drought stress, the plant protection, especially what diseases are there, what insects are in the honeybush, and can we breed for resistance perhaps for that. Also looking at the cultivation practices, example weeding, harvesting, soil preparation. Then the third part is our agro-processing, so that we have in the end a good quality end product that we can sell to consumers. We need to know what is the composition and the phytochemical properties of the plant, what is the aroma and sensory, why would we like to drink the tea, We need to optimize the process for processing and look at quality control parameters and tools. Now, these three legs, as I said, are interlinked with each other. If we change something, it has a directly effect on another one. So if we change the processing, it may change on how the genetics reacts, and we may get a different product in the end. The same if we change something in the horticulture, it can have an effect on the processing or on how the genetics will react in the wild. So these three are interlinked with each other, and that's why we do the research in the ARC as a team and not isolated. So today I want to tell you a bit more about the breeding and genetics. And the important thing of breeding and is that you need to understand everything that I said on this page on the horticulture and the agro-processing. Otherwise, you won't make a success. You need to see the whole picture and not only the genetics. Now, the ARC started a breeding program in 2001. We evaluated 12 species and we have made selections in 4 of the species. And in 2011, we established seed orchards for commercial seed production. The orchards are established as open pollinated polo cross plantations, and from that orchards we harvested seed per clone for progeny trials. So that is half-set families, meaning that we know the mother parent, but the pollen parent is unknown. So seed are currently available of 3 commercial species, and we have sold more than 75 kilograms of seed to farmers, and that equals about 800 hectares of plantations. If we have look here at results of a progeny trial, here is 3 years results, and you will see there is an arrow on the screen. All the families on the left of the arrow are less than the mean, and the ones on the right are more than the mean. What this means is if we do selections, we will looking at the families that gives the highest yield. So we will look at the families on the right hand side. You will see also that year 3 the yields are very low. Now that was in 2018 when we experienced a very dry period here in the Western Cape, so the plants were not irrigated. So we can clearly see what the effect of drought stress on the yield is of the plants. But interestingly, if we look at SKB 18, the one with the star, you will see it's not the highest yielder, but in the drought situation, it gives the highest yield. So that will be a good selection for drought stress tolerance and may be selected to breed for drought resistance, which will become more and more important in our climate change situation. As I said, also we have to look at the quality of the tea. So it doesn't help we just breed and we don't know what the quality is. So here is a graph of the sensory profiles of that half families. You will see the square, black square is the mean of that for that different descriptors. Then the green square is the clone, and then the brown circle is the offset progeny. If you look at the left hand, you will see on the fynbos sweet sensory, there's one selection in mother plant that is below the mean. So that family we won't select if we need to breed for fynbos sweet. That family we would get rid of. But if you look then on the right hand, there is at cinnamon a family that is much higher than the rest. So that is a good example of a plant to use for selection for breeding in the taste of cinnamon in the tea. With the little knowledge we had, we made a big and significant progress in the short time. The seed sales has led to more than doubling of the commercial plantations. The breeding increased the commercial yield with at least 50%. We gained a lot of new knowledge and published many scientific publications on this endemic species. And we have increased the awareness and conservation of honeybush. Thank you.